Hi, I'm Jen, and this is my podcast, Wrenreflections. Welcome, everyone. Today, we will be having the second and final part of the interview with my sister. Who is she? My sister, Jackie Clark. Last podcast, I introduced to everyone my sister and asked her some questions on who she is, what's her passion and drive, and learned a little bit more about the personal side of her as well. So today we will learn so much more and again and again. Sorry, welcome, Jackie.
Thank you very much, Jen. Nice to be back. I had a lovely time the last time. So, yes, I'm definitely looking forward to this one.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So great to have you again, as I said, and I hope you'll enjoy doing this one again, and this round, and that you'll also enjoy the questions that you're asked.
Okay, well, as they are all surprise questions, I hope I actually have
Good.
some valid answers for
Yeah.
them.
So, hope you're
Mhm.
up and ready for them.
Okay, let's
You know,
go.
great, great. We'll start by, saying, I know that you've had a very hectic week this week, a hectic and emotional week, if I may say so, from different angles. What's the moment? Was there a moment of epiphany or an eye opener for you this week about life in general, or that caused you to have a different perspective on the world? Based on just your week and the experiences of this week, was there any eye opener for you based on what has happened?
Ask me that. It's very funny you should ask me that because I had quite a hectic week this week. I had a friend visiting from abroad who really wanted to, to see London in 3 days and all of London in 3 days and everything she's
Oh,
ever heard of in 3 days. So we had
yeah.
along with another friend who was visiting from out of London. So the three of us had a really good time and we had the
Mhm.
chance to go and visit friends and neighbors and family that we hadn't seen for a long
Great.
time who live in the
Awesome.
outer skirts of London. So yes, we had a very good time. I think my epiphany moment this week
Mm-hmm.
was visiting a friend
Mm-hmm.
whose husband is now disabled, and just to see the love and the care that
Yeah.
she and her children give to her husband, and this is something that they've been doing for quite a few years because
Mm.
he is severely disabled. So the epiphany for me was looking at how some people actually really take the
Mm.
vows of marriage, for better or for worse, very
Mm.
seriously and live up to it in every aspect.
Mm.
So observing her and the
Wow.
care she was giving to her husband, that was an epiphany moment for me, because to think that despite all the challenges, her children were there supporting her. She never ever thought of putting him in a home. She keeps
Yeah.
him in home to care for him. That's been my epiphany moment this week.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
about love, care, dedication, and people actually really sticking to their vows and
Wow.
being true to themselves. Yes.
Wow. That must have been an experience because that seems so rare these days. Or maybe it's not so rare, we're just not hearing much of it because, it's more about the grime, but it's good to have a beautiful story to tell, as you say, about the love and taking vows seriously. That's
Yes.
awesome. Yes. Yes. So it impacted you, huh?
It impacted me. It impacted me because this person was a childhood friend
Yeah.
and she was always a lovely person. But just to see that after 60 years, she's just
Hmm.
as lovely as because she's been married to that man for 40 years. So to
Wow.
see that love still there,
Yes.
it just really touched me because personally I had spoken to her several times because she lives on the outskirts of London, but
Yes.
I hadn't actually been to see her. But seeing her and seeing, you know, the love and the way in which her children, and I should say that her children are all boys, they're not girls,
Yes.
they're boys, but the care and the love that they just all share for their father and the support they give to their mom, it's just mind boggling.
Wow.
Really, it really, really
Mhm.
touched me.
Beautiful. You know, it's good to experience and know and see firsthand, beautiful souls at work. And they sound like a real strong family unit. And, we applaud that. We applaud that in every way. And we just hope that, others may use that as an example.
Yes, I would say that. Yes,
Ye-
definitely.
Yes. Okay. Nice. Interesting week.
Yes, very
And
interesting week. My lovely friend has now gone back to America. She can't wait to come back to England because she
I
loved
can
it so
imagine.
much.
I can imagine.
Of course, we rocked down to Electric Avenue in Brixton,
Oh, wow.
and had a really good time. Yes, we did.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful moments and experiences. Question two I have is what is your defining moment that you say changed your life for the better? I know you've talked about what happened this week, but in general, what's one defining moment that you say that you have experienced throughout your life, at whatever point in your life, that has changed your life for the better? Since we're on the
That's
topic
quite
of
a
that.
difficult
Mhm.
question, because my life has changed in many ways at various times.
Mhm.
I can't say that I have a particularly defining moment. I
Okay.
think one of the experiences that I had that I would say was when I bought my first property, my apartment in London, and
Um.
I had been living in Nottingham for a year. I'd come back to live in England as an adult. I didn't particularly like living in Nottingham because it was very slow and
Mhm.
quite boring. And apologies to anybody from Nottingham who is listening to this.
Yes, you
But
better.
I decided that, I prayed to God and I said, God, I leave Jamaica and I come to England and I don't know if I'm going to stay because I'm not really enjoying it. And yes, I think as you say that, I think this is actually my defining moment. This was one
Okay.
defining moment. I prayed to God and I said, Lord, I can't take no more down here because the people are
Mhm.
racist. The place is boring. Everywhere closed at 5 o'clock, and I can't get a,
Mm.
a, a proper job.
Okay.
And I went to church and there was a pastor there. His name was Pastor Muzinguzi. I don't know why I didn't think of this as my defining moment. But this man, he said he came to the church and he was preaching. He was from Uganda. I'll never forget him. And in his preaching, he said that his surname, which was Muzinguzi, meant to win all the time.
Mhm.
Which was very interesting. He was a very good preacher, very, very good preacher. And when he was preaching, he spoke about people, if they really want to know their purpose and they want to really hear from God, they
Yeah.
need to fast for a day, go into your closet and pray and
Mhm.
ask God to give you a word and to give you a sense of direction.
Mhm.
And I took him at his word. I went
Yeah.
home. I remember it was a Sunday evening at church,
Yeah.
and I went home, and the Monday I ate absolutely nothing. And I had
Mhm.
fasted and prayed in the past, but I
Mhm.
hadn't taken it. I didn't have that spirit within me with that word. But this time I went into my closet. And when I say my closet, I literally went into my clothes closet.
Yes.
I closed the door. It was very dark in there. And
Yeah.
I prayed and I said, God, because he had said that when you pray, God will tell you where your Goshen is. And Goshen is a
Okay.
place of plenty, a place of
Okay.
prosperity.
Yes.
And I prayed, I said, Lord, I know that Nottingham is not my Goshen. Even without even without
Yeah.
you telling me, Lord, I know Nottingham is not my Goshen. And I'm asking you, Lord, please direct me to my Goshen, because if you don't direct me to my Goshen, I'm going back to Jamaica because I
Mm-hmm.
really don't like Nottingham. And mind you, at the
Mm.
time I was doing a master's in university at that time,
Yes.
but I knew it wasn't my Goshen. And I prayed, and believe you me, same like how I prayed, I fasted and I prayed that Monday. I had sent out, because I during this time prior to this, I sent out loads and loads of applications.
Yeah.
And same like how I fast and pray that whole day Monday. Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
I got two phone calls from two schools in London to come
Wow.
for to come for
Review.
interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Awesome.
had done interviews in London before, and I had not been successful in those jobs. And
Great
I got
work.
two phone
Mm-hmm.
calls saying, "Can you come to London for two interviews?" And one was in Shepherd's Bush in London, and the other one was in Abbeywood in southeast London, which is literally the other side of London, because Shepherd's Bush is west there, so it's southeast, and it's a good distance. And I lived in west. I lived in west, and I had a few friends in west. No, I hadn't moved to London yet. I was in, I was there in Nottingham, and I in those times, you could, because I wasn't even working, so I couldn't take the train. I had to take the coach, and the coach takes longer. And I
Mm-hmm.
went to one interview, and I went to the
Mm-hmm.
second one. And when I went to the first, because one thing with me, whenever I come to London, I have to go to Brixton Market, comes what may.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I went and I did the interview, and I liked the people. I didn't see many. I saw a lot of black children at the school, but I didn't see lots of black staff. I saw maybe one black woman and a black man. But the
Okay.
children were very polite, and it's like the children were very excited to see me come there for an interview, because I
Yeah.
was going there to be the learning resources officer, which is really a fancy name for the librarian, because I'm going there to manage the library.
Okay.
And the children were
Mm-hmm.
very polite to me, which was quite interesting. And I went,
Mm-hmm.
I did that interview, I left, and I went to the other interview, which was on the other side of London, and I came back to Brixton, because as I say, I love to go to Brixton because I want my little Jamaican planting and my little things, before I head back to Nottingham.
Right.
And believe me, when I was in
Mm-hmm.
Brixton, I never ever forget, but I was standing right at a stall right on the corner, and I now know that to be um, Station Road. I was standing on the corner right there, and my phone rang, my mobile phone rang. And the first one that I'd been
Mm-hmm.
to in Shepherd's Bush, they called the lady called. She said, "Oh, hello, is that Jacqueline?" I said, "Yes, that's Jacqueline." She said, "Oh, um, if we were to offer you the role, when would you
Yeah.
be able to start?" And I
Yes.
said, "I would be able to start next week." And this was the Monday. This was a
Mm-hmm.
Monday I came to this interview.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, "Okay, we would like to offer you the post, and we would like you to start next week, Monday." And I can tell you,
Ah.
I
Mm-hmm.
cannot tell you the feeling that I had.
I can
I
imagine.
cannot tell you the
Mm-hmm.
feeling that I had. It was, what would you say? It defies description. The
Yes.
feeling that I had when I got that call, because I said,
Yes.
"Lord, I
Overwhelming.
know my Goshen was not in Nottingham, and I
Mm-hmm.
kind of did think so my Goshen was in London,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to be where things are happening. So I was as happy as a lark.
As a
Yes,
lark. I can
as a lark.
imagine.
And I moved to London, and it's
Yes.
been good since
The
then.
rest
There's
is
been ups
history.
and downs,
Yes.
but it's been good. And that really was, I think, that defining moment in getting a job in London and moving from
Mm-hmm.
Nottingham was
Yes.
my defining moment. Yes.
Beautiful. Lovely story. Lovely story. Glad that you persevered and that
Yes.
you took the word of the pastor, that you heard, and you applied it to your life literally at the time, and look what God did. So that's
Yes.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes, and he has helped me to go from strength to strength. I've had down times.
Indeed.
I've been in the valley
Yes,
sometimes,
I
but
agree
I
there.
must say that God has helped me from strength to strength. He helped
Yes,
me. I've bought my own place. Yes, and
yes.
I'm happily living in London. Yes,
Beautiful, beautiful. It is, it's an awesome feeling when, we put our faith and our trust in Him, in God. It pays off. So
yes.
we'll just continue doing what we do. So tell me then, this is, a kind of fun one of the questions. What's the kindest thing anyone has said to you that you'll never forget?
people say people say so many kind things to me.
I know, but which one
I've
sticks
had a
out?
few unkind ones.
We won't go there today. Just the kind one. Tell me one of the kindest ones that sticks out.
It's the kindest one.
Oh,
But
go
I
ahead.
remember there was this man, because I used to work for Western Union, and there was this man. He's the chair of the Derby West Indian Carnival Association, Mr. Mighty, bless him. And he said to me one day, he said, "Let me tell you
Hmm.
something, Jackie Clark. You might not be the most beautiful person. That's what he told me, but nobody can beat you on personality."
Okay.
And I thought that was really nice.
Okay. And I
Yeah.
see it
So
stuck.
yes, and yes, that's what he said to me. And I know I know I'm lovely, but I'm not the most beautiful person. But he said nobody can beat you on personality, and I thought that was really
Listen,
nice.
you're
Yeah,
beautiful and you have a wonderful personality. End of
yeah.
story.
So
It-
yes,
we
so
won't
that
go into the
I think that
comparison
was
of the
very
two yet.
nice.
Yes.
Yes, and
That's
whenever I
nice.
think of Mr. Mighty, I remember that.
You remember that. Oh,
Yeah.
great. I like that. I remember, in the previous podcast we did, part one, we had touched on childhood and the childhood memories. Um, and what we remember, what we hold dear from it. We have other siblings, you and I, that is, and all brothers. But do you like being a big sister? And what
Do
perks
I love.
come with it, by the way? I need to hear this. What perks come with being a big sister?
No, it's not really perks that come with being a big sister, but I do like being a big
Hmm.
sister. And when I was younger, I really enjoyed being a big sister because I was
Yeah,
very protective of my younger siblings,
yeah,
and it was good to always have other children to play with
yeah, yeah.
and kind of to boss them around,
Ah,
That's probably the
confession,
perk.
man, confession. Yes, yes.
It's a perk. It's one of the perks, bossing
I
them
know there
around.
had to be a perk
Yes,
there
yeah,
somewhere,
there's
and
that
she's
perk.
finally
There's that
admitted it.
perk. Yeah, there's that perk. It's. I think being a big sister does develop your leadership qualities. That's for sure, because you kind of have to organize
Yes,
the
and you had
brothers
great
and
practice,
sisters.
didn't you?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, we know so.
Yes, I think so.
Ah, okay, okay. So it has helped to round you up into being, a great leader, or it was, yeah, in the formative years. It did that, right?
Yes, because
Mhm.
you had to ensure, because especially like our parents worked. They
Yeah,
were not home parents, they worked.
yeah.
So I had
Mhm.
to, when I'm at home, say weekends and in school holidays, I have to marshal and ensure that tasks are done and everybody is doing what they need to be doing. You understand me?
Yeah,
So, yes, that kind of gives you that, it kind of helps you to develop that quality of operations.
fun. And I have to say, I think you did a great job with that. Yes, you
Well,
did
I'm
a
glad
great
to
job.
hear it.
You did a great job.
I'm really glad to hear it.
Yes. Okay, no problem. One of the things that I know about you also is that you've always had a knack for remembering faces, places, and names of people. You're extremely good with that. So the question I have is, what historical event, and it doesn't have to be one that you were around for at the time that that event happened. But what historical event has been the most impactful on you, Jackie Clark? Let me say world event that in your mind has had the most impact on you, whether it you being a black woman or being a woman or just being a person. What is there a moment or an event rather that you would say impacted your life?
I wouldn't say that it necessarily impacted my life. I would say, I mean, there's been
Yeah.
lots of events that have impacted my life, but I would say that
Mhm.
there are two events that stand out for me personally
Mhm.
that I would say are defining moments or defining events. One of them was the release of Nelson Mandela,
Mhm.
the Walk
Okay.
to Freedom. Watched that
Yes.
on television. I
Mhm.
remember that very clearly. And I would probably say the Barack Obama becoming president, because I
Ah,
didn't think that
yes,
I would live to see a black president
absolutely.
in the US. So
Yes.
I think for me, those are the two defining historical
Moments.
defining
Winning moments.
historical moments that
Mhm.
have taken place during my lifetime.
Yes. Yes.
I I would say probably the abolition of slavery impacted from a long time ago, which
Mhm.
again I have different views on that as well. But
Mhm.
during my lifetime, Nelson Mandela's freedom and
Yes.
Barack
Barack
Obama's presidential election, yes,
Obama. Yes. They were definitely two moments to remember and
yes,
remember in a good way too. So, yeah,
yes.
I can relate to you with that. We're winding down nicely, but we have a few more questions, interesting questions I may ask for you. And this one
Okay,
is a simple yes or no. Um,
okay.
is blood thicker than water, as the saying goes?
No,
Hmm.
no.
Would you like to tell us in a nutshell why your answer is no?
Well, my
But quickly,
understanding of
quickly.
blood being thicker
Mm-hmm.
than water means that family always comes before others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what in my life, I have found that there are times when you have some family
Yeah.
and some friends, and there are some friends that are closer than some family.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true. That is just the truth.
yes.
It's the reality of life. So I absolutely agree with that one. And let me ask you, what legacy would Jackie Clark like to leave behind when you're no longer here? What's the legacy you like to take with you? You like to leave behind, rather.
I would ideally like to leave behind a legacy of having supported and helped as
Mm-hmm.
many people as I possibly can in
Mm-hmm.
whatever ways that I could or
Mm-hmm.
can. That's
Okay.
the legacy that I would, because ideally I would like to at some point start a charity to help in different ways,
Mm-hmm.
but there are so many people in need of so much help that you
Yeah.
can't help everybody, because you see people what happens to people who try to help everybody. So
Yeah.
you having boundaries, but
Mm-hmm.
having some helping people as you can, and
Yeah.
not shouting on the treetops that you're helping people. Just help them
Mm-hmm.
in whatever way you can.
And from the
That's
genuineness
my
of your
that's
heart.
my yes, yes.
Yes. That's really, yes, that's a really good legacy to leave behind, I think, a lasting one. And we live in a world where we don't see that happening a lot or in a genuine, authentic way, especially. So let me ask you, based on your answer, your last answer, would you say you have a bright outlook on what the world will look like in, let's say, 5 years from now? What's your take on that? Do you have a positive or bright outlook on what the world will look like 5 years from now?
Mm. I wouldn't like to say yes and I wouldn't like to say no,
Mm-hmm.
because what I have observed is that the dynamism of life is that
Mm-hmm.
things change very quickly.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
while something looks very bright today,
Yes.
it can go downhill very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to look at the number of wars that seem to be starting and breaking out and people being killed, it would suggest that 5 years from now might not have a bright outlook, but we don't know. Things may change. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say that it's very difficult to predict anything. I think even Nostradamus would have a problem right now.
Wow, it changes so quickly, eh?
It does, because
That's
you're
true.
here today, and
Yeah.
then the next thing you know, there's a war tomorrow. Then there's another war over here, and then there's people dying over here of starvation, and then there's another something else happening over. There's a volcano here. There's a tsunami there. You just don't know.
Yes, yes, yes. We just have to, go on with the flow of life in the best way possible, right?
That's my outlook.
Yes, and continue to just live, love, and laugh, and as you say, help anywhere you can, just help, or any way you
Yeah.
can, just help. So the last question now before we sign off, and I know this is gonna be one that will will kind of stun you, maybe.
Okay.
So the last question is favorite sibling.
I don't really have a favorite sibling. All of my siblings are
So
very
diplomatic.
different. It's diplomatic. All of my siblings are different. All
Okay.
my siblings are all very different.
Yes,
There's very limited similarities between any of my siblings.
that's
Everybody
true.
has their good qualities and everybody has their
There.
negatives.
Yes,
So
yes.
I wouldn't say that I have a favorite, because if you have, even as a parent, when you have a favorite, it becomes a problem. So you
Hmm.
just have to work with your individual siblings based on their strengths,
Yes,
and
and
not
appreciate
try
each.
to highlight their weaknesses. Just,
Hmm.
if you know somebody is weak in something, don't ask them to do it, because it won't get done.
Yeah.
So I don't have a favorite sibling. I have four of you, but I don't really have a favorite.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful answer, I may say.
Yes.
Yes, beautiful answer. I thank you. This has once again, truly been a pleasure and an honor. And I thank you, big sister, for opening your heart and mind to the listeners and to me as well.
You're very welcome.
Yes, I thank you for being here. I enjoyed your answers rather to the questions asked, and you've always been very supportive. And I look forward to doing this with you again someday soon. So listen, please keep your ears out when I say I need you on, in a different, that we can probably, do it in a different capacity or on a different topic. That would be great. So
Okay.
yes, and it has been my pleasure and the listeners' pleasure, I hope, as well. So once more, here is an affirmation as we close, and it says, "This is about sisterhood. I celebrate the beauty and strength of sisterhood, a bond that uplifts me and fills my heart with love. Sisterhood is a rock, support, a coming together to make each of our burdens lighter. Sisterhood is a safe haven, a source of comfort, and our foundation of strength. It is a gift, a treasure that enriches my life, our life, and fills our hearts with joy. Until next time, this is Jen of Wrenreflections saying always remember to be good to yourself. And please feel free to leave your comment or subscribe to Ren Reflections on YouTube, Ren Reflections on Facebook, or Jen at Ren Reflections on Twitter. You can also listen to my podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeart. This is Ren. This is Jen rather of Ren Reflections saying until next time, bye bye. Bye, sister.
Bye.
Bye bye.